Hey guys, Hijinks here. Recently we've had a lot of changes come to Dead by Daylight, and recently I talked about the adrenaline change. I wanted to go into talking about another change that came over on the killer side, and it's the removal of hug teching from Blight. So before we hop into this video, I figure we'll start out by talking about what is hug teching. The hug tech allows the Blight to slide against objects and to ignore the collision by either looking up or down. This makes it so that Blight can hit survivors that are hugging a loop. Before we kind of get any further, now that you know what hug teching is, something that should be mentioned is 2 years ago, the devs did say that hug teching was a bug they intended to remove. Again, that was 2 years ago, so it's a substantial amount of time. I mean, we sort of knew it was coming, but again, 2 years is a long wait for something to get removed. Usually by then you kind of think maybe it won't. Um, I would say I do not believe hug teching should have been removed from Dead by Daylight. Um, it's not the easiest tech to perform, and it's usually seen in more experienced Blight players. So usually at the point of when you're versing a Blight that's utilizing hug teching, you probably are a more experienced survivor. And you should be aware of some other of the play options that you have kind of going into loops to prevent that from being an issue. I understand the origin of hug teching is it being a bug. However, I never really saw hug teching to be game breaking. Bug in origin or not, it was still a technique, and it was a more difficult technique to execute. The use of hug teching involved a ton of skill, and it raised the skill ceiling between newer blights and more experienced blights. With that being said, I don't find it fair to remove things causing a lower skill ceiling. Removing skill-based text from your game, whether it was originally a bug or not, causes a larger issue for the future of your game. It causes more distress in the player base, and it hinders the competitive community of Dead by Daylight. Despite hug taking being removed, Blight will still be a strong killer and still worth playing. And to sort of wrap this all up, I will just say that I think removing hug tagging will see a decrease in players using Blight. Um, Hug tagging was a great strategy that again wasn't broken. It was a balanced technique, and I think there's going to be some frustration from the Blight player base. It really impacts players that have been playing Blight exclusively for the past 2 years because now they have to relearn their strategies and kind of get back into grinding the game a bit more to see what they can do. Look at new counterplay and looping options. And that's never really a bad thing, but it doesn't create a healthy environment for your player base when you keep removing balance techniques when there are other things that are more important to focus on. But with that being said, that's all I've got. Let me know what you guys think. If there's a technique that you guys would like to see come back that was removed. Um, and that's all. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.